Welcome to another edition of Cheers to Careers. I'm Steve Ridinghouse, the Career and Outreach Coordinator at the Journalism School. Our guest today is Joel Zeff of Joel Zeff Creative. Joel is a 1990 KU grad, a great year to graduate from KU. Joel, how are you?
I'm good. 1990 was a good year.
It was hard to believe it's 31 years ago.
It is. So in some ways, it seems like it was just yesterday. And then other ways, it seems like a century ago.
So Joel, I know in your current career, you're doing a lot, especially this past year in the virtual format, being an MC, award host. How has the last year been? I know you've had a change quite a bit in the past year.
Why? Something happened in the past year? I haven't really watched.
I think it hit Texas.
I haven't really been keeping up. Yes, it's huge change. And I do keynotes and I do MC, and as I tell all my clients, one of my key messages about change, and change is hard for everybody, and usually you change one thing here, or you change one thing, your management changes or you restructure. In the past year, we changed everything, right? And so you wonder why everyone was so, frustrated, and, they didn't know what to do. And there was, just this, everybody's reaction was so intense because we changed everything: how you eat, how you shop, how you live, how you work, how you socialize, everything. And so, and my business was no different, as going from live events to virtual. For me, the transition was not as difficult because I have a lot of on-camera experience, so I'm used to speaking to a camera. So it wasn't that hard from the technical standpoint. What was different was figuring out how do I transition my keynote, because I used audience volunteers. It was very interactive, and so it was a process of just trying new things, depending on what online platform I was using, just trying to evolve and to make the transition as successful as possible. And I continue to evolve. Usually I travel. My last trip was the end of February 2020. And so I'm used to being gone every week, and now everything's at home. I've had a chance. I've done a couple things in a studio, but I haven't traveled since the end of February, which is really different. So there's been a lot of transitions, just trying to adapt and move forward and kind of step into the possibilities and use it as an advantage, and not look at it as a negative, but look at it as, okay, how can this benefit? How can I take advantage of this? One is I can take events at a smaller fee structure, where events that I wouldn't do before, I can do virtually now. There's more opportunity, more accessibility. So you just try to step into it, try to take advantage of it.
And I think I saw on LinkedIn a while back, you talked about this virtual revolution. So is this virtual revolution here to stay, or is it going to be kind of that makes you think in terms of events?
I think so. I think it's going to be part of the event landscape, and it's going to be kind of like a menu. Some events are going to be live only. Some events are going to be a hybrid, that they're going to add that virtual opportunity. Some are going to be virtual only. I don't think it's going to go away. And I think we're at the beginning. I kind of joke with some of my clients. I say we're at the dial-up internet point of virtual events. We're at where someone sends you an AOL CD-ROM. That's the point we're at. Everything's just the technology's gonna evolve. It's gonna get better. People are gonna get more used to the concept, and it's going to just continue to grow. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I did an event not too long ago where you created an avatar, your own avatar, and it was like a computer game, and you walk through this world. You walk through a trade show world. You could walk up to people. Your avatar could talk to their avatar. When I did my keynote, it was in an auditorium. And it was the closest to an audience that I had, because in the audience, you would look out and everybody's avatar was sitting in the virtual world. And then you would see the video screens would have me, in live in real life, but I was an avatar. And so, it's just, it's interesting to see the innovation and where it's going to go, but I think it's going to be part of the landscape.
I know a big part of your position when you reach out to companies is like celebrating those everyday successes. How tough is it this past year to do that? And is it more important than ever to celebrate those successes?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's always important to celebrate. I think companies realize they have to make sure that they appreciate their team members more and give them more opportunity and create a more positive environment. And that's going to fuel their growth, fuel their innovation, fuel their leadership. And they're realizing how important their star team members are and how difficult it is to find more star team members, and how critical they are through this tremendous amount of disruption to the brand success or the company success. And at the same time, the advantages with the team member to make sure that, they're creating these opportunities and matching with positive support. And because, it's amazing what they can accomplish. It's amazing what they're going to be able to do, and know their worth. That if you're not at a company that's giving you that opportunity, that's giving you that positive support, that's celebrating your successes and celebrating what you're providing, then you need to find another opportunity, because there are plenty, even no matter what the environment is, everybody, it seems like everybody's still hiring. I was just on my LinkedIn account. You mentioned LinkedIn, and I can't tell you how many times I saw, we're hiring, we're looking for this, just post after post after post. Everybody is always looking for passionate, energized team members to help them reach their goals. And if somebody's not celebrating your success, then you have to find, believe me, there is a company that will celebrate your success, that will want a passionate, energized team member. You know your worth. You shouldn't settle. That's really the point I'm making.
Can you share a little bit about your professional career? I know you started out after graduating in 1990, newspapers, PR briefly. And then I think for pretty much the past 25 years, it's been Joel Zeff Creative. I mean, how do you operate at such a high level, being pretty much a one-person operation?
Magic. When I left the journalism school, I was a newspaper reporter. I was working in Michigan, and then I moved down to Dallas, where I live currently. I jumped on board the Dallas Times-Herald. It was a 2-newspaper town, and I jumped on board 6 months before the ship hit the iceberg. So basically, it was like this. It was like, boop, boop. And I was like, wait, I got a ticket. Boop, boop. And I'm running down the dock, and I jump on board the Titanic. And then 6 months, I moved. I have a 1-bedroom apartment with no furniture, and the Titanic didn't hit the iceberg 6 months later, and I was out of a job. And I freelanced for a little bit, and then I kind of found my way into PR and marketing. Worked for a PR agency and ad agency, and then a couple years later, I started my own business doing creative communications. It wasn't speaking at that point. It was just purely, PR, writing, strategic communications is what we call it now. Anything that falls under that umbrella. And I was doing it, on my own, just and for my clients that I had met along the way or were referred to me. And one of my clients was Texas Instruments, and they were having an executive retreat, and it was their notebook computer division back when they had a notebook computer division. And they said, "Hey, we're having this retreat. We know you're doing improv," and at that time I was doing improv comedy on the weekends at a theater in Dallas. And they said, "Come up, play some of those improv games with us." And I went, "Okay." And I took another performer with me. It was a small group, probably like 50. It was no more than 15, 20, all men, all VP level, technology people. So if you're saying, what could be the worst audience possible? How could we create that? And strangely, they had a great time. More importantly, I had a great time. And that's when the light bulb started flickering. This is the mid 90s. Like, I think it was like 94, 95. And the light bulb started flickering. I said, maybe I could offer this to other clients. So I spent so much time doing comedy, improv comedy, stand-up comedy after the Times Herald had closed, because I kind of followed that passion, followed that love, and didn't know where it was going to go. And, now the light bulb started clicking. Okay, I think I have something that I can make money, that I can follow my passion and my love and kind of combine my business experience, my improv experience, my communication experience, and just kind of mix it all together. And that's what happened. And at the time, I was doing, if you gave me a $50 gift card, I was thrilled. Or $10 gift card. If you gave me a paperweight, if I came and spoke at your meeting and you gave me a sweatshirt and a paperweight, I was like, oh, I can't believe they gave me this cool sweatshirt. You throw in some Chili's gift cards. Oh my goodness. I was living the high life. And then got a little money, and it just I just built my business. And then around 97 was when I started really focusing on it as part of my business, because I went into business for myself in 94, and 97 is when the speaking, the keynotes, that's when it really became part of the business. And it wasn't until like 99, 2000 that it just took over the business. It just said, no, your time spent doing PR and marketing and strategic, it's a hard word, Steve. Strategic communication. That's why I don't do strategic communication anymore. So I said, it just took over. I said, that time you spent doing strategic communications, no, you're not going to do that anymore. And so, I just followed my love, my passion, and it just kind of created this business where, using improv to talk about teamwork and change and disruption and leadership and innovation, just all the messages that improv taught me kind of filtered through my business experience. And now it's probably, I don't know, 2,200, 2,300 events later. And here we are, and I'm talking to you. So I peaked. Now that Steve has called me for his career, Cheers to Careers. Cheers to Careers. I peaked. This is it. I made it.
Well, I'm kind of the same. I'm kind of the same.
Down tomorrow.
I think I've seen you post about Marie Osmond, Fonzie, Jay Leno. I mean, you've been with some pretty high level people.
I have spoken to. Yep, I have shared the stage. Marie Osmond, Jay Leno, Sugar Ray Leonard. Not the Fonz yet. That one was.
Oh, I thought you had that was on your dream. Okay, that was the dream.
No, that was last year. That was that event was rescheduled to because of I don't know if you heard there's a pandemic.
I thought that already happened before pandemic. My bad.
No, that was canceled. That was one of my. There was three events that I was really sad about. I was sad about all of them being canceled. The event with Henry Winkler, the Fonz. And as your Gen Z viewing audience will go, who's he talking about? I have no idea. He's the acting teacher on Barry.
There you go.
That'll help them out. Right? And so that one I was really, really bummed about. I had an event in Jamaica I was really obviously sad about. And then there was an event with that I just did virtually, the American Association of Admissions and Registrar, College Admissions and Registrars Organization, officers. They have a lot of letters in their name. So I was really upset that I missed their event, AACRAO. It's a lot of letters. I was really bummed that I missed their event, but I got to do their event virtually. The Henry Winkler event has been rescheduled for live in September, and the Jamaica is 2022.
Well, with the 2,000 plus events, I've really been impressed how you're able to get the repeat clients. I mean, talk about how important it is to kind of maintain that relationship in your business and really in any business to kind of keep that going.
I think, I just learned a long time ago that if you do a great job, if you focus on making sure the your business partner, your customer, your client is taken care of, is happy, is successful, then it's going to come back to you. You know, which is one of my tenets of what I talk about. How do I help the people around me be successful? You know, that's one of the major tenets of what makes improvisation successful. And I just take that to my business, just making sure I take care of the client, making sure that they're successful, making sure, you know, I want the audience members to walk out and go, wow, that was the greatest event I've ever attended. Whether I'm a keynote speaker, whether I'm an MC, whether I'm doing an awards host, whatever, I just try to do whatever I can. I try to give them, you know, whether it's not just about me being the speaker or the MC, is how else can I provide value? What can I give you ideas? Can I give you my personal experience and things that my other clients have done to help you? You know, and when you do that, clients recognize that and they want to work with you again. They understand that you're easy to work with, that you provide extra value, that you're there for them. You're there to make sure that they're successful and that their event is awesome. And when you do that, it's going to come back. You know, people are going to refer you, and you know, and that's always been my philosophy. When I was a newspaper reporter, when I was in PR and marketing, is just focus on giving that extra value, doing your best, not being satisfied with, you know, being average or being just getting it done. You want to get it done at your best ability.
And I think that's your book behind you. That's awesome product placement, by the way. Make the right choice. What was the inspiration for that book?
That's a good question. The publisher, so John Wiley published the book, and 14 years in August this book came out. I probably should write another one, but I'm waiting for an opportunity where I have a lot of free time, where I'm like having to stay home. I'm waiting. If that opportunity presents itself, that'd be a good time to write a book, or just to watch a lot of Netflix. Either one. So the publisher out of the blue called me. It's a true story. The publisher out of the blue called me and said, "Hey, I was doing some research on another speaker, and I came across your name, and I noticed that you didn't have a book. Are you interested in writing a book? Or why haven't you?" I think what she actually said was, "Why haven't you written a book?" And I said, this is a direct quote, by the way. I said, "I was waiting for you to call me." And she thought that was funny, which I was lucky. She thought that was funny. And then we made a deal and published the book. And it was on for many years it was on Amazon's, you know, for work-life balance. It was top 10 in work-life balance for Amazon for many years. You know, I go through, you know, it's not dated or anything. There might be a couple jokes in there that are a little dated, but it's still relevant, and I'm real proud of it. And it kind of focuses on my messages that I talk about during my keynote, and just kind of in a more detailed manner. And so I'm very, very, very proud of the book, and it is time to write another one. I need some free time.
Joel, I know I follow you on social media, and you had a really touching post a month or so ago. I think you received some red pens from Jeannie Eblin. Can you share that story, the story behind the glorious red pen?
Yes, that's a great. So actually, that's a scholarship that I founded several years ago in honor of Tom Eblin, who was my professor and mentor at the journalism school. He was at the time the general manager of the Kansan when I was a reporter and editor, assistant campus editor. That was the low editor, assistant campus editor, and reporter. And you know, someone that I was very lucky, and you were at the journalism school at the same time. There were just so many amazing professors that helped me in so many different ways. Tom Eblin, Suzanne Shaw, Paul Jess, Rick Musser, and so many others. And So Tom was, I was at here's where I came up with the idea, to tell you the truth. I was at J School Generations, which I co-founded, and I was getting ready to. I think it was the second day I was getting ready, and I was thinking about, okay, what do I want to do now? We got this J School Generations event off the ground, and it's healthy, and people are responding to it. What do I want to do next? And I thought, and all of a sudden, that I should start a scholarship for Tom Eblin. And so I announced it the day I had the idea. I was at J School Generations, and I announced, I go, I'm going to start a scholarship for Tom Eblin, and I'm going to do the seed money, and then we started sending out emails, and it wasn't really it was very grassroots. I mean, I probably sent out 30 emails to people that had graduated around the time, and then people had just passed it on, and and it was fully funded and endowed, I think, in less than a year. Once after the first emails went out, it was fully endowed, and money continues to be donated, and so I called it the Tom Eblin, in honor of the glorious red pen, because he would mark up the cans in with a red felt tip pen, and for all our, there was a lot of positives, but there was a lot of what were you thinking? This makes no sense.
It was always posted on the door too, wasn't it?
It was posted on the bulletin board. It was posted on the bulletin board in the newsroom, and I mean, it was red, every day, but it helped us become better journalists. It helped us become better editors. It pointed out where we can improve, and it didn't. It really it told us, don't settle. You always should be getting better. You should always be improving. You should always be aspiring to something better. Yes, we're putting out a great paper, but that great paper has mistakes and it can be better. And here's how we can improve on that. And so I started the scholarship, and Jeannie, his wife, Tom has since passed away, sent me a nice letter with a packet of those red pens I think she found in the house. They're probably stashed everywhere in her house. Those red pens, my vision is every drawer has a packet of red pens somewhere, right? And she's still taking them out. And so she sent them to me, and I cherish them, and it just gives me great memories, and of what he meant to my career, and mentoring me and being supportive, and and really cheering me on and giving me the confidence that I could do this, and to be better, and not to continue to grow and continue to build a career, and he just gave me so much, and that's what kind of those pins really meant to me. And that was the second scholarship I started for the journalism school. By the way, I have a daughter going to college next in the fall, and I'd like to get all that money back. So if that's possible, because now I have to pay for college. I just want to just give it back, and then in 4 years I'll give it back. If we can, I don't know who I talked to about that. But I started another scholarship.
I was going to ask you, did you have chicken piccata for lunch today?
Yeah, I did. I had chicken. I had some chicken. Mm-hmm. So, that's another funny story. So I had, for the first few years after I graduated, I went back. I would stop in, say hi, and have dinner with Tom, or and then there were several years that I didn't really have a relationship with the journalism school, and I got a call from the Endowment Association, and she was going through Dallas, and we met at the Grand Lux Cafe, which is like the Cheesecake Factory. And I was thinking in this process, I want to start a scholarship. I had started a scholarship at my high school, and so we were eating lunch, and I was having chicken piccata, which was fantastic, by the way. The Grand Lux makes a wonderful chicken piccata. And so it was just kind of, it was just the timing was perfect. And she said, thought, you know, what do you want to do? And I said, I've always thought about starting a scholarship. I just didn't know how to go about it. And so, the timing is perfect that you called me, and that, and she goes, well, what would you call the scholarship? And I said, I think I'm going to call it the Chicken Piccata Scholarship, because I was eating chicken piccata. And she kind of laughed. And that's all it really takes for anything. If you just give me a little chuckle, just, that feeds my soul, right? And so I'm like, yeah. So we're going to call it the Chicken Piccata Scholarship. I think we call it the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship, if I remember correctly. And she goes, okay. And so then I get a call from the Endowment Association, and they said, I don't think we can call it the Chicken Piccata Scholarship, which makes me want to call it the Chicken Piccata Scholarship even more, because it first started as a joke. But then when authority pushes back, I push back, right? And they're like, you can't have the Chicken Piccata Scholarship. People are going to put this on their resume. And I'm like, okay, here's the deal. It's going to be called the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship. If you don't want to call it the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship, I'm going to call K-State and start a scholarship with them. And they're like, oh, no, it's fine. I think that's great. I think it's great. I think this is the greatest. Yes, we're going to call it the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship. And so now every year someone's got to put the Chicken Piccata Scholarship on their resume, which I think is great, because if I'm going through resumes and I'm hiring you and I see that you've won the Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship, I'm gonna schedule an interview just on that, just to find out about the Chicken Piccata Scholarship. It gives these students something to talk about. It gives you an in. You're different. You're unique, right? I'm helping you, and right. If you were hiring, if you're you're gonna see that. It's gonna stand out. And so, yeah, I'm very proud of that. Joel Zeff Chicken Piccata Scholarship.
And Joel, one last question. You just kind of touched on this about your experience with the daily Kansan. I mean, it sounds like you're using a lot of those skills, experiences you gained from the KU in the late 80s to what you're doing now. I mean, striving to get better every day. Can you talk about how KU made a difference for you?
I was very fortunate in again, like I said, the professors, and they really focus on real world experience, not just at the Kansan, but internships. They knew that's where you're going to get the best experience. Certainly working at the Kansan, but also in internships. I was very lucky that I had that opportunity and that they pushed me to do that. And because when I graduated, I had 3 major internships plus a 2-week internship. I'd lived in Florida, I lived in California, I lived in Salina, Kansas. Very proud of that. Covering the River Fest in Salina, Kansas. My first internship, it's just awesome. And that real world experience gave me the confidence, and gave me the opportunities, when I started my career. And it really, when I walked out, I was a newspaper reporter when I graduated, and I had done it. I had done it at 4 different newspapers, plus the Kansan. I had been successful. I knew what to expect. I knew what to do. And all that was because of the opportunities that the J School gave me. And it really created a great foundation to build my career. And even though I kind of shifted out of journalism and went into PR and advertising, I got my first PR job because of my journalism experience, because I was because of all the experience I had as a writer, as a newspaper reporter, and it was valued. And even as I shifted from PR marketing into my own business speaking, I'm still using all those skills, all those communication skills, all those deadline skills, all those writing skills, all those abilities to speak to different people, and to build a relationship, that you have to do as a reporter, and to take information And, as a speaker, I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking information and then I'm just delivering it to an audience instead of them reading it, they're listening to me. It's the same concept. And so it's how important language is, and how important what the power of the word is, and the importance of great editing that Paul just taught me, and the importance of writing that Tom Evelyn and Rick Muster taught me, and so many things that the journalism school and Suzanne Shaw, focusing on career and building your career and gaining experience. I was just very fortunate that I had these professors and had this experience, and that's one of the reasons that that I go back and I speak to students, and one of the reasons I go back, that I started these 2 scholarships and J School Generations is how much the journalism school meant to me, in my success and my happiness and building my career, and and I want to give back to help the next generation of journalists or strategic communications, as they move forward, because whatever you do, whether you're in journalism or you do something completely non-traditional, the skills that the students are learning right now are highly valued. They are highly valued. These skills that I just talked about they're in high demand with whatever you do, no matter what career you choose. Whether you stay traditionally in journalism or strategic communications, or you move into other areas or follow a passion like I did, or do whatever your heart is set on doing. Your skills that you're learning at the J School are highly valued, and you're going to be successful wherever you go, as long as you take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you, whether it's working on the Kansan or the agency, or gaining internships, or however you can gain experience. That's what's valued, and you're given these opportunities. And when you grab this opportunity and grab this experience, you're just going to be so successful as you build your career, and you go out and find, follow your passion.
Well said, Joel.
Any of that?
It sounds like you just gave the keynote to commencement next month. So that was tremendous.
I'm here for you, Steve.
Joel, I appreciate you taking time to visit with us virtually. I don't know if you have your KU cup. Did you bring a KU cup to Cheers?
Look,
the virtual Cheers.
Check my cup here. Where's the Jayhawks red?
Wow, what happened to the color there?
It's from the dishwasher. It's been
dishwasher.
Used so much. Right? I don't know where we're getting this, but we're going to need to find something that these colors can stick a little, right? These are our William Allen White mugs.
Well, Joel, I appreciate it, and cheers to your careers. Thanks, Joel.
Hey, cheers to your career, Steve. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you. Thanks, Joel.
Bye.